Welcome to Let's Get Growing. We're here in the potscaping. We're getting into the latter half of August, and when a lot of people start thinking it's time to start packing the garden in for the year, this is actually sort of the beginning of the best time of the year that we can get to in the garden. I just love this late summer into fall transition. So many things are still looking great in the garden. A lot of perennials really come into their own at this time of the year, and especially the annuals and the tender plants and the tropicals that we use outside really come into their own at this time of the year. So we're going to look at a few of them today and look a little bit at how to keep that color going right through till frost. So we're going to start with a plant that I have just been absolutely blown away with for 2 seasons now. This is one of a new sort of group of sunflowers that have been around for a couple of years, but they're really sort of not fully too well known yet. And they're from cuttings. They're very shrubby, small flowers, but non-stop bloom. From the day we planted these in May, they have been blooming continuously. And as you get into the autumn, they just keep getting better and better and better and better. This particular one is Sunbelievable Brown-Eyed Girl. Dark stems, dark zone in the flower. We'll look at another one called Sunmazing in a couple of minutes, but they are absolutely unbelievable, and the flower power these things have is just ridiculous. If you look at these things, you'll see we've got bloom, we've got some spent flowers, but every node here is going to push more flowers out. And to help that continue, you want to make sure you're deadheading. This is a time of the year where you got to keep getting the spent flowers off your annuals, off your tropicals, your dahlias, things like that, so they continue to bloom. When you have plants that are annuals, if you let them go to seed, they think their job is done. So what you've got to do is just keep removing that ability for them to go to seed, and they will keep producing flowers till heavy frost knock them back. So we're going to do a couple of these ones, and we're going to move up to these dahlias behind me. But you can see this flower is done. If we look back on the stem, you'll see that there's no flower here. You've got a bud here. If we go back down a little bit, we've got another bud developing here. So we're going to take that stem back to the stem that has the bud on it. That way we don't get a nasty little stump or anything like that. It's a nice tidy cut back, and you can't even see where I cut it back. And in a day or two, these are all going to be in bloom. So you just need to go through your plants, find those spots, take them back. And actually, with some plants, a spent sunflower looks actually as cool as a regular sunflower. You can put those right into a cut flower arrangement in the house and use them while they look like that, because they're actually still attractive. But you need to remove them so you keep your plants blooming. There's lots more to deadhead here, so we're not going to continue with that. We'll come back to it. We'll get rid of a lot of these flowers. We'll come back to it. We're going to keep these things blooming right through until at least Thanksgiving. Dahlias are the same. Move it up to the dahlia there. Dahlias are the same. So, you know, there's lots of different kind of dahlias. They're exceptionally popular right now, with good reason. You know, we don't grow the big show dahlias. These are border dahlias, smaller flowers, but lots of them. I love the varieties with the black foliage. Really adds another whole element to the dahlias. So look for those. There's more and more of these dark leaf ones for borders and containers coming out all the time. And the same thing. We have got buds, dozens and dozens of buds coming, but you need to deadhead. So we'll look out front here. We'll see that we've got a spent flower here. Follow it all the way back, and you can see this was actually a side bloom. So there was a flower here already, and then this one. But we're going to clean that up a little bit. We're going to go way back so we don't have that ugly little stem there. You really want to avoid that kind of stuff because that's what makes your plants look kind of crappy as the season goes on. So we'll look through some more. We got another spent one here. And you may go a long way back. Watch how far back this stem is. See the length of that? If you just cut it there, this is just going to die and turn brown on the plant. You don't want that. You want to go right back to where it connects to the stems, and that's where you take it off. Now, sometimes with dahlias, people have a bit of a problem telling apart a bud and a spent flower. The buds are nice and round and plump like this. The spent flowers, if I could find one that had already dropped its petals.
Get one over there.
They have more of a pointed sort of look to them. Let's see if I can find one over here. These things are just so in bloom right now. I can't really find a spent one. Well, here's one. We'll look at this one. Go all the way back. Actually, there's two of them there. Get rid of them. The spent ones get sort of a cone shape, pointed like that. That'll be a seed head, which we don't want at this time of the year. If you want to grow dahlias from seed, let some of the later ones develop seed heads, and dahlias are super easy to grow from seed. You don't know what you're going to get, but it's kind of a fun adventure, and you can pick and choose ones that you like. This one is one called Electro Pink. It was new to us this year, and I just love it. You know, 3 to 4 inch bright pink flowers with the black foliage. I think it's just a great variety. We're going to move along a little bit now. So this container that we did this year, we had a bit of a theme going. May need to tilt that up a little bit.
Yeah.
We had a bit of a theme going with this one, and we were trying some layering bulbs into the planter. It's working really well. We had a great display of Asiatic lilies in the planter, but they're now finished. What we've got coming along is Acidanthera, and we'll look at those in a minute, and some gorgeous deep burgundy black gladiolus. So all these were layered in the planter, and then the potato vines and the coleus, all kinds of other stuff.
Artemisia.
Artemisia's in here. Were all sort of put in on top, and then the bulbs were allowed to come up through the planter. So, as I said, midsummer, Asiatic lilies did their thing. And this is a great way to grow Asiatic lilies. They're really inexpensive. You can get, 3 bulbs for about $5. Use them in containers. The lily beetles don't know where they are, so they look good. If you keep them over year to year, then the lily beetles will likely get them and make them look crappy. But they've done their thing now. We don't want them in the container anymore. So what we're going to do is just take them out, and simply we're just going to go down into the container, take out the stems of the lilies, and look at, we've got a calla lily coming into bloom here. We've got Acidanthera starting. We'll come over here and get this one out of here too. We've got some petunias and stuff that are going to get a bit more light, so they'll be happy. But the show will then be taken over by the later bulbs. So like I said, we've got a couple of gladiolus blooming. We're going to have more glads in here, and they're a great centerpiece for containers. Whether you use the tall glads in a big pot or the shorter ones in smaller pots, they make great centerpieces because they have nice foliage as an upright spiky green foliage, and then now, late summer, boom, they're coming into bloom. So consider using the glads as centerpieces in your containers. They work really, really well for that. So get rid of one more lily there. A couple more. And that'll allow everything else to sort of take hold and fill out. All right, we're going to move again, Laura. Keeping you busy today. There's lots to look at this time of the year. So much fun. The other thing that's doing its thing right now is canna lilies. The canna lilies are great this year. They love a nice hot summer. They love the moisture we've had. And they're blooming like crazy. So it's time to look at deadheading the canna lilies. So I'm just going to move one pot here. And we're going to get into one of the Cleopatra heads. So we'll come over here. You can see we've got Cleopatras blooming like crazy. Lots of buds to come, but you do get to this stage. So when your cannas are doing their thing, here's a good example. We'll use this one. When the cannas are doing their thing, you're going to have some early flowers that are going to finish up, and you're going to want to get rid of those. So you just go and individually pick out those flowers that are done, because right at the base of those flowers are more blooms. So you've got sort of 2 layers, maybe even 3 layers of flowers in the heads. So similar to what you do with daylilies, just go in individually, clean out those flowers, and then you've still got a decent flower head to bloom, and you've cleared the way for more flowers to come. Now what's going to happen is those flowers are going to make seed pods, and you want to avoid the seed pods because it'll stop the plant from blooming. So once you get through all of these flowers, then you start looking down the stem, and you at some point are then going to say, okay, yeah, this stem is all finished, so I'm going to cut it off here, but there's another spike on the same stem, so be aware of that. So this one here, you can see that we have already cut away the first flower spike because it was finished. Now this flower spike, let's have a look. That one's done. That's got a bit of color left. I don't think we're going to see any more flowers on this stem. So once this flower's off, then we're going to go back in here. There's no flowers coming, no more spikes coming here, but you need to check because you might get another spike there. This spike's done. Now that means this stem is finished. So you can actually go back a little further, remove that, because that stem's not going to bloom again. A new stem is going to grow up beside it, and then it's going to flower for us. But remember that you have 3 layers of flowers in there on your cannas. So don't be quick to just chop the whole spike off when you see some dead flowers on it. All right, we're going to move down a little bit more. Late summer is also the time for hardy hibiscus, the dinner plate types, and we have got a fantastic range now of the dinner plate hibiscus. Older varieties used to get 6-7 feet tall with the big dinner plates, but so much breeding work has been done now. We have nice compact plants in sort of the 3 to 5 foot range with the big flowers that we really love. Now these flowers are a little small, partly because last week we had temperatures below 10 degrees at night. And hibiscus are very sensitive to that. If you get a cold snap, when the buds are forming, the flowers will open smaller. If it's nice and hot, when the buds are developing, you will get bigger flowers. So this plant right now has, 6-inch diameter flowers. They could go up to 8 or 10-inch diameter flowers in a really hot spell. So we're getting warm weather now, so I expect the next flowers are going to be a bit bigger. Yes, they are hardy perennials. No, we have not planted them yet. We're not sure where they're going to go in the garden, So for now, we're just plunk them into our potscaping to add a little bit of color and interest in the potscaping. Nothing wrong with doing that. We're going to plant them in the next couple of weeks, and they'll have plenty of time to settle in the garden before fall. We'll mulch them well for the winter and mark the spot because they're very late to come up in the spring. Usually not till late May, even 1st of June sometimes if it's a cool season. But they make a great addition to the potscaping for a temporary little blast of color. So we've been using them that way. Going to move along a little bit more. Earlier in the season, this trellis was covered in sweet peas. The sweet peas have all finished now. They've all gone to seed, so we ripped them out. But we've got Ammi Magus, a nice umbellifer, kind of a Queen Anne's lace looking plant.